It's been a long time since I've posted a video here, but here we go. The world is a very interesting place right now. We are in very peculiar times between the protests that are taking place in efforts to create systemic level change, like at a societal level change, and all of the issues with the pandemic and the differences of opinion, the politicizing of science and decisions that people make based on, managing their exposure to other humans. It's in these chaotic experiences in life that we both are particularly unhappy as humans because we don't like chaos. We like things to be predictable and controlled. But it's also the place where we have the greatest opportunity to take a look at some of the deeper realities of what it means to be us. And I'm outside today, so we're getting a little bit of ambient noise, but I chose to be outside instead of in front of a green screen where I could put all the fancy little backdrops because most of us have been stuck inside for a lot, and I just can't stand to be inside any more than I have to be. So this is one of those times where we get to really take a look at what creates change and how do I gain more agency and personal authority over my life, especially if I feel like government and healthcare systems are trying to dictate how I live, and that bugs me. There are two ways that we approach how the human machine operates or is wired. One of them is what the entire universe tells us is true, and then the other one is what's actually true. Only we default to the first one. And the second one seems like a lofty philosophical discussion topic, and so we tend to blow it off. And that is the crux, if you will, the pivot point of the majority of our problems that we face in daily life and in major peculiar times like we're in right now. So if you are interested in being a part of change, I am going to challenge you to seriously take a look at what you believe about how you and other human beings are wired. There are two models. The first model looks like this. This model says at the heart of who you are your emotions. Your emotions drive everything. Your emotions drive what you think, they drive what you believe, and what you think and believe drives the behavior and the choices and decisions that you make that then produce the behavior that the rest of the world gets to observe as you. Not always the most useful approach. The other model that we can think about how people operate is a little bit more useful, and I think a whole lot more accurate, and it looks like this. At the center of the machine that makes us who we are our beliefs, our belief systems, the things that we believe about good, bad, right, wrong, reality, falsehood, blah, blah, blah. Those beliefs are what create our emotional states, and it's through that emotional filter that we make the decisions that we make and the choices that we make that then produce the behaviors that we engage in life that the world gets to see as the person that we are. This is a much more useful model, but it's a more challenging model. It's not what the rest of the world wants you to think and believe, and it's also going to require self-reflection, something that as human beings we're always not super keen to do, and here's why. If you think about that whole iceberg metaphor that gets used all the time, which is, 10% of the iceberg is above the waterline and 90% is below the waterline, i.e. you only see 10%, the other 90% of whatever the thing is that you're talking about is outside of awareness. If you anchor that into belief systems, then we would say that 10% of what you believe, you're conscious of. 90% of what you believe about the universe, you're completely blind to. Does not mean that it's not operating. So here's the thing. If you want to join us in a conversation that really digs into this more and talks about why the first model, this one, is kind of crappy for us to actually live our lives by, and that the second model, this one, is really where the seed of agency and personal power lives, then jump over to the 500 Rising Patreon site, because there's a big ass long series of conversations there that's part of anybody who's in there at tier 2. If you are interested in this, then jump on the 500 Rising Patreon page. That information is right here. See that? That's the Patreon website for 500 Rising. Because 500 Rising has a very strong focus on women and living from a place of strength and personal authority in life, and its goal as boots on the ground is to focus on some self-defense development training. A lot of people out there in the universe who are men think, well, this is irrelevant information for me. It is not irrelevant information for you. One, you probably know females in your life. So if you know females in your life and there are females that you care about in your life, then it's not irrelevant information. And although we double down as to how things have a unique impact in certain places on women, if we pull out of that particular microscope that we use These things at some level apply across the gender boards. Just because it's connected to the 500 Rising Patreon side, if you're interested in information about a deep dialogue on this approach to what it means to be human, join us on the Patreon website. Peace out, everybody.